What's going on, guys? Thills on the block back again in the garage, and we have a Chrysler Sebring convertible. So this is the predecessor to the Chrysler 200. You know, some similarities here. Basically, this is a Chrysler 200 convertible, and they named it the Sebring. Not to be confused with this Sebring, but anyway. This is actually a much better version of the Sebring, because the other one, kind of lame, but this is a pretty impressive little car. Anyway, it's in the garage because it's time for some paint work and some body work. Had some oopses here on the front bumper, as you can see there. Got something going here on the hood, and just a little dent right there, and a little scrape right here in the fender. And the top is pretty sun-baked, as well as the back. A couple little dents back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix this fender, fix the hood, the front bumper cover, and I think there's some scratches actually at the top here. A couple heavy scratches here we're going to have to repair. Not sure what happened here, but we'll take care of getting those scratches taken care of. And probably re-clear this deck lid because it's pretty flat. I don't think this will polish out. It looks like somebody put a single stage on here. If you look over here, it's like nice and shiny, and then over here it's kind of flat, really flat right here, very flat. I don't think it's going to polish up. I think it was single stage, a really cheap clear, and it's died back and it's just dead, or almost dead. So the plan is to go through and do a soft roll edge here all the way around this perimeter, and we'll bring the top of this deck lid up and roll this body line, and then we'll have to add some color to this fender, add some color to the hood, and re-clear the fender. I think the door itself is fine because it's got a nice reflectiveness, as you can see there, whereas the fender kind of does. The hood's definitely going to have to be re-cleared because it's going to get paint. And I think this fender over here is okay. I think it's okay. So, really don't want to re-clear this whole car just because there's a whole lot to tape. So we'll probably tape off this door going back that way. And we'll just do the front nose. And I'll go ahead and probably just hit these headlights with some clear, restore those. And should be good to go. So, aside from that, this car is actually really clean. Yep, leather interior, like 125,000 miles, not too bad. Clean everywhere else. It's just been sitting. Didn't get driven a lot because there was a couple things that had the owner concerned, so he just didn't drive it. Older couple, you know, so. Anyway, that's the story here. I think we are going to go ahead and start some prep work and see what's going on with this hood. I believe this hood's aluminum. Got a handy dandy magnet right here. Let's see, something steel. Yeah, tape stand steel. Alright. So, yeah. This is some sort of a reaction. Talked to my buddy at VEHCOR Customs. He said these aluminum hoods are bad about doing this, especially the Chryslers. So that's what we're dealing with there. It's no rust. It's just some kind of weird paint thing that they do. So we'll take those down. And this hood's going to kind of suck to prep because it's got all these nooks and crannies. But we'll get it prepped. And I have to get my stud puller out and do some handy work on this fender where it got wrinkled. But yeah, so let's start the prep work, and then we'll be ready to get some color and clear on this thing. Alright, that took care of those scratches there. When I took that all the way down, there was rust down there, so we got it cleaned up. A little bit of a divot in there, so I'll put a little bit of spot putty in there to kind of even that out. Up here on the nose, looked like we just had some corrosion, kind of like dissimilar metals or something. Kind of reminded me of. So took that all the way back down to the aluminum there, and over here fanned it out a little bit, and then we will prime this up. I epoxy primer here and here, and probably here as well after we do a little bit of cleanup there. May just do the Speedocoat. Let's see what we got over here. What do we have in the drawer in the cabinet? Yeah, don't mind this stuff. We don't use that stuff. That right there, the SMR 230. It's probably what we use. Not a lot of priming to do here, so we'll probably just use aerosol. Take care of this one and that one, and we'll aerosol that little area up there after we get the spot putty in there and get that flat. Alright, fender prepped. Or I should say prepped, taken down. Fender, hood, went across the front bumper, knocked all the areas down that need to be knocked down. I'm about to get my plastic welder and come in here and heat that up, close that little crack in the bumper cover up. Do a little bit of work right in there, and over here got a little bit of hump I need to take out. So I'm gonna get my plastic welder and we will get this bumper as smooth as we can before we apply our body filler or our flex filler, and then I think we'll be ready for some primer. Forgot to slow down the video right here. This area is the hump that we were talking about before. I'm gonna be using this plastic welder, and there's a hole over on this side of the bumper over here that I need to weld up as well. So that's what's going to be going on here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the time lapse back on, but just want to give you guys an idea on the tool. Basically, this is a soldering iron with a wide head, so you can heat up the plastic surface and manipulate it accordingly. These do come from the Harbor Freight with plastic welding rods, as they refer to them as, and a brush for roughing up your surface for prep, and also a little heat shielded guide thing to keep it off the floor or off your workbench. Whew, man, let's zoom that thing out. Alright, worked this front bumper, got the dents and nicks and plastic welded and spot putty on there. The high cohesion putty from Speedocoat and the Speedocoat 230 in the can. Got one more coat of primer to do in a couple spots. Fix the areas on the hood where we had the hump side on both sides. This one here. Fix this one here. Had a little bit of a dent in the fender, went ahead and took care of that. We got that fender straight enough. Yep, straight enough. And got those scratches out of the top. Took care of the little spot that was in the paint there. There's a little ding in the door there. Dent right there. Dent right there. Took care of the back bumper. Got it all situated. There's a little area over here we took care of, and a little dent right there. And this side I think was pretty clean, so we didn't do anything on the passenger side, except for that little area right there. So my plan of attack will be, I'm going to go ahead and take the entire car down with 600 or 400, scuff all these areas. The hood is going to respray all the areas, of course, that were primered. We'll paint probably with 3 coats of base. So I'll hit 2 coats of base on those areas. Then I'll do a coat of base on the whole hood, and then we'll do a dust coat on the hood. The bumper is going to need complete coverage on the whole bumper, basically because I had to redo the whole entire nose. And then I'll bring that paint around this way into the fender here, and we'll try to do a blend from here back this way, kind of blend into the door opening. I've got an area I've got to patch here, so this will be an area here that I'll base coat in and base coat this in here, which is going to spread left and right, so we'll end up kind of bringing that color all the way down through here. What I'm going to do is take my base coat and then do some color blender to blend these areas in where I had to do the patchwork at. Repaint the top because that area is huge, so we're going to repaint that and this one, and of course the deck lid. I don't have a whole lot of paint, but I don't think a lot of paint is going to be needed to do this. Then I've got a pint, which yields a sprayable quart, which with color blender you can get about 2 quarts out of that, which is half a gallon, which should be plenty of sprayable material to make this happen. The original primer on this car was gray, so we're about the same color the original primer was. And then after we take care of all these little paint repairs, we will go through and clear coat the entire car. I did not plan on clear coating the whole car. I had initially just planned on doing the front and the top and maybe back to about that second panel. I wasn't going to do anything on the deck lid other than just clear it, but because there were some dents that were very noticeable, I went ahead and knocked those dents out. The back bumper had all kinds of gouges in it, which is why it's got primer from there to there, basically the whole center section of the back bumper. Just scratches from taking stuff in and out of the car. And then this deck lid will just be a scuff, a couple areas colored up, and then we'll clear the whole thing. So I do have some paint here. I'll go over real quick what I'm going to be using. There's some clear base down there. I'll use the clear base with my color to extend the length or the amount of paint that I have. I'll use that, and I'll use some color blender, which is up here somewhere. We'll be using medium reducer for the base coat, and I'll be using let's see, we won't be using 42 for this one. We'll be using this clear coat right here, which is the high production clear coat, the SMR 135, and probably the medium activator with it. So we're about 70 degrees outside. So I think that covers everything. Base, medium reducer, the high production clear coat with the medium activator. I don't think there's anything else. I was trying to think. I've got another silver that I may put down as a spot panel coverage to let that kind of bake into the primer. That will allow me to put more of my actual color over top of that. So I've got let's see here, and the reason I'm bringing this up is I get questions a lot about, hey, how would you extend your color if you only have X amount of paint and all that kind of stuff. Here's a Nissan color. So this is kind of like a white color, and that actually worked really well because that'll lay into the primer, and then you can kind of go over top of that, especially if you got areas that you have that are like miscolored. In this case, I've only got the primer and the base color, so it's not too bad. I may throw some of that white in there, or gray, or silver, and kind of go over the main portion of the bumper. Same thing here, and here, and maybe back in these areas. I'm not too worried about it because it's just a little small spot, but in the larger areas we may throw that on there just to eat up some of the real estate and get our top coat on top of there. Kind of helps your metallics especially sit up off the panel instead of get kind of baked into the primer. And when they get baked into the primer or laid in the primer, you can use twice as much paint as you need to, especially if you're shooting over body filler. In this case, I don't have any body filler. I've got a good quality primer, so we might not need to do that, but I figured I'd bring it up. Alright, I'm going to turn the time lapse back on and go ahead and finish scuffing the rest of this car down, which will be done with either 400 grit with the little DA right there, or my arsenal of prep pads. So I've talked about these in another video. This is a 5-inch red Scotch-Brite pad. So a little 5-inch Scotch-Brite, and you put that on your DA, and then you can go and prep like crazy. It makes prep work super fast. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll throw it on here, and then we'll prep this up and get it ready for paint. We're gonna give this base coat some time to flash out. Had to lay it down in some areas to get that coverage over where our body work was at. Covered pretty good. As Marco Colbert says, it'll be out from one of these BEEP BOP cars. BEEP BOP car. In other words, one that somebody's gonna go out there and beat up and bop off the curb and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, silver came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. You may have seen me using this golden gun here. Don't mind all this junk in the background. Still gotta get the shop cleaned up. But yeah, that's what we're using. In fact, I'll be putting this gun in a giveaway. Not this one, but a brand new one, just like this. So we use the Shopline PPG paint. Here's the color, in case you guys were wondering. Silver steel. That's the Shopline Prime variant. And we're using the Speedokote 130 SMR 135 high production clear coat, and we'll be using the medium activator. So for those of you watching this video wanting to know how to win this gun right here, yeah, we're gonna give this gun away, and I think I'm gonna do a live stream to give it away. Haven't done a whole bunch of live streams, but that's what we'll do. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment below, and I will make an announcement about the live stream, and we'll do a live stream and give one of these away with some Through Wheels on a Block swag. I'm gonna go ahead and get this clear mixed up, and it's just about time to lay some base. It's flashing out pretty good. It's really humid today, so it's affecting my dry time a little bit, but I think she's gonna be just fine. Alright, so I already know somebody in the comment section is gonna say, he's painting it wrong. He took his lines across the hood the wrong way. Yeah, I know they're gonna say that, you know, whatever. You can paint either way. I did a cross coat on this because it's a silver and it's metallic, and in order to get the flake to lay down in a consistent manner, that's what you saw previously. Here I'm laying on the clear, and you can see I'm laying on there pretty heavy even on the first coat. It's pretty hot this day. It's 75, 80 degrees, humidity's pretty high. Laying it on there because it's going to dry pretty quickly using a medium activator. Probably could have stepped back to a slow, but it was already too late, so we decided to rock with it. One other thing that I will add, when you go to put your clear coat on your first pass, just go ahead and get the clear on the vehicle. It is not going to look show quality. It's not even going to look good quality, but you want to go ahead and get your first pass with the clear coat on the car, and that will get your surface ready for your finale or grand finale, depending on how many coats of clear you put on. If you're doing a 2-coat clear, then you got your base or your ground coat of clear, and then your final coat of clear. Doing the grand finale, that'd be your base, your final, and then your final. So that's where that comes from. But as you can see, I'm kind of working my way around the car, laying heavy on the flat areas, of course, because you're not going to get any runs there. Taking my time working down the sides to make sure that we don't have any runs, drips, or sag. Now, tech tip for you: if you are doing a vehicle to flip, in the case this is what we're doing here, or you're doing any sort of restoration work on these plastic headlights, you can see I am untaping the headlights and the fog lights because they've already been prepped with 400, 600, or 800 grit paper, and I'm going to use my clear coat on the second pass to go ahead and coat those lights and get them looking as good as new. Off the gun, you see it, off the gun. I knew it could be done. Had to pile on some clear and some airs on this thing to get to lay flat, but she laid out flat. I think that texture in the top is more from my base coat than it is from the clear coat, because that's 3 coats of clear up there. Trunk lid came out okay. Back looks good. I think it'll pass. I don't even think I have to buff it. I may have to buff this trunk lid because I have a drip right here, so I get that drip out. Came out of the top of the cup. Turn those fans down so it's not so loud in the background. But yeah, she came out pretty good, considering I have minimal space to work with. This is as tight as I painted one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is as tight as I painted one. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've had any of them in here cramped, shoehorned in quite like this. So I had a little bit of dry spray land over on this left side. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. So I have to cut and do a little buff on that side to flatten that out. But that's all I gotta do with the deck lid. That's not bad. Everything else is good enough. It'll work just fine for the old BEEP BOP. Well, let's let this thing cure up. We'll move it outside and see what it looks like. And you guys saw the trick on those headlights. That's the move right there. They look brand new. Got the fog lights while I was at it. You see it. Look brand new. Brand new off the lot. That's what I'm talking about. I saw Marco do this in a video he was doing. Speedokoterefinishnetwork. Network. I always give him a shout out because he's the one who really transformed the whole paint game for me with really how to use a spray gun and what a spray gun's supposed to do. And once I got that figured out, you guys see the rest of it. So shout out to Marco. He's the one I saw in this video. He had his lights taped off on one of his BEEP BOPs he was doing. I think it's an RSX or a Honda Civic, something like that. And he went back and yanked the tape off real quick in the paper and hit it with the clear. And I said, I'm going to have to use that trick. I like that. That was pretty slick. So Marco, thanks for that. Appreciate the tips, man. He's always got good stuff on his channel. Anyway, let's get this thing outside and take a look and see what it looks like. You guys have it. There you have it. Not bad for a BEEP BOP paint job. I'll spin this thing around the front so we can check out the other side of it. Got those creases out of the top. Came out real nice. Got all the blemishes out of the side. That metallic looks really, really good on there. Deck lid looks good. Let's spin it around, get a shot of the front in the sunlight. Alright. There's some heavy metal flake in that paint. See if I can do this without getting all in the... The headlights came out super good. You can see there the clarity. Yep. Do a little trick on that grill, get that grill to come back. There's the clarity of the hood, clarity on the top. You can see definitely way better than she was before. Alright, we're about to wrap it up on this Chrysler Sebring, but this grill needs some attention. It looks terrible. So I'm going to use the heat gun hat trick, or hack, either way you want to call it. I've done this before and it works really well. This plastic gets baked as time progresses and it sits out in the sun, and I probably could have gone back and re-sprayed this with the gray, but this works just as good. And this lasts longer, or as long. Just come in here on the grill and apply some heat. Alright. As you guys can see, the luster of the grill is coming back. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the rest of it. We'll see what the final we'll see what the final product looks like. Alright, there you have it, guys. Chrysler Sebring convertible is complete. And she turned out A-okay. Turned out A-okay. Pulled it back in the shop so you guys can see inside and outside. Get an idea as far as the clarity. This is the SMR 135 clear. Shop line base coat. Shot with the golden gun. And I'll say, you know what? So Marco Colbert says, for a scratching spray, she ain't bad. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys for hanging through this video. My name's Erwin. This Thrills in a Block. We're giving back. The time is taken away. We'll see you soon.